Hey guys, it's smeefu. This time we have a guide on all things Wraith. I'll talk about her strengths and weaknesses, her abilities and what they do, the best possible upgrade path in my opinion, different combos and a maximum parry punish, some item recommendations and macro tips, and how Wraith likes to play the game. Tomorrow we'll have a full build video coming out where I'll run you guys through exactly how I build her and different paths I like to take depending on different situations. But in the meantime, please like, subscribe and comment down below what hero you would like to see next. As always, thank you and enjoy the video. So let's get started with the Wraith's strengths and weaknesses. The first strength is that she is very strong early, especially for being a carry. She has a fast fire rate gun with a lot of ammo, making her very good for CSing, and her cards are genuinely a huge source of damage this early into the game. Not many heroes have access to this amount of chip damage, especially from range. Wraith's next strength is mobility. Her teleport and her sprint speed, scaling with spirit power, just allow her to move around the map offensively and defensively very quickly and a lot faster than other heroes. Wraith has extremely strong objective damage. With her huge mag and fire rate buffs, she can melt objectives very, very quickly. Now the objective damage paired with the mobility gives her another strength, which is that she is an amazing split pusher. Wraith has access to spirit and gun damage, giving her hybrid damage of sorts. Her 3 gives her spirit damage on her bullets, her cards give her spirit damage, and then obviously you have her gun for the gun damage. This means that unless people are buying both armors, you're going to be able to deal substantial damage to them throughout the game. The last strength I want to talk about with Wraith is that she likes the mid-boss room. When she gets her ult fully upgraded, it will target everyone in a circle around her without you even having to aim it. You just press the ability and click it, and everyone in the AoE will be lifted, making her very good for mid-boss securing and denying. The weaknesses I want to talk about with Wraith is that she doesn't really have the best AoE damage. Cards begin to fall off late game, so as opposed to other carries like Seven with his ult or his 3 being incredible for AoE damage, or Haze with her ult, Wraith doesn't really compare when it comes to AoE damage. She's more of a single target carry and AoE CC hero. Her gun is also very weak early game. This is why in the item section I'll recommend a melee item, because pushing wave with your gun is not actually very easy with Wraith at all. It's very slow to kill minions. It's good to just melee them or last hit with your gun. On to explaining Wraith's abilities. Her 1 is Card Trick. Now this is a super unique ability that generates cards by shooting enemies with your gun. This is a charge ability, so extra charge and rapid recharge will give it more charges, but you will not get them over time. You have to shoot players or bots with your gun, though notably it does build up faster by shooting players. And when you launch one of these cards, you can control its path with your crosshair. This means you can hit people around corners with it, and if they dodge away and you react fast enough, you can follow their dodge and still hit them with the card. This ability is extremely powerful, especially in the laning phase, as it's huge burst damage early. The first talent is +1 charge, like I spoke about. The second talent is +50 damage, making it 130 damage base. And the third talent is +50% card summon rate, which will make it so you summon the cards faster when shooting players. The next ability is Project Mind. Project Mind is a very basic, simple teleport that can be used offensively or defensively. The first talent adds 15 meters to the cast range, making it a 40-meter teleport, which is absolutely huge. The second talent provides Wraith a 300 bullet shield for 8 seconds on teleport at base, but the shield amount does scale with her spirit power. This is again another reason why it can be used defensively or offensively. Running away, it's going to be hard for people to finish you off because you get the bullet shield, and when you engage and start fighting, you're going to engage with a bullet shield. The third talent point is -28 seconds cooldown, making this ability a 20-second cooldown flat without any other cooldown reduction items. Wraith's third ability is Full Auto. This is an AoE around you that gives yourself and allies in the AoE 20% extra fire rate. The duration of this ability is 5 seconds at base, but the duration also scales with spirit power. The first talent reduces the cooldown by 14 seconds, making it 34 seconds. The second talent gives you +5 spirit damage per bullet while the ability is active, and the third talent gives you 35% bullet lifesteal while the ability is active. Now to note, Wraith does not give her teammates the plus spirit damage per bullet, they only receive the fire rate and they receive half of it. So teammates will get plus 10% instead of plus 20%. And at the base, the start of the game, full auto doesn't show that it adds spirit damage per bullet with no talents. However, it is there, it's just hidden because you start with no spirit power. As soon as you get some spirit power, even if you just get one, you'll get like 0.1 spirit damage per bullet before getting the second talent. So you can proc bullet resist shredder before you even get the second talent in this ability. Wraith's fourth and final ability is telekinesis. This is a point and click slow projectile that stuns enemies and damages them when the stun ends. The first talent is minus 28 seconds. The second talent is a plus 0.5 seconds duration to the stun. And the third talent makes telekinesis a completely massive AoE all around Wraith that will target all enemies within the AoE. This is a huge talent because now your point and click stun has gone from a single target ability to being able to hit 6 people at once and CC the whole enemy team for your allies to kill. Now here, in my opinion, we have the best possible upgrade path for Wraith's abilities. You always want to start off, no matter what, with 2 points straight into card trick, your 1. The extra charge is amazing for damage in lane, and then so is the plus 50 damage. You'll have 130 damage on this ability very early, and it's going to allow you to be an absolute lane bully and win your lane and gank others very well. Then I'm going to move on to 3 consecutive points in telekinesis. The first talent is extremely important to get the cooldown reduction, so you can use this more often. The second talent just stuns them a bit longer, but the third talent is really what we're going for here. We're rushing it because it's extremely powerful. It can allow you to 1v2 early game, and if the enemies somehow go for an early boss, you'll be able to deny it and steal the rejuvenator with the third talent in telekinesis. Then we move on to a point in our 3, just making the cooldown of full auto a little bit smaller. Then we move over to project mind, the teleport, and get the 15 meter cast range on it. Back to full auto for another point, just to get the extra spirit damage per bullet, which is not nothing, it does a lot later in the game. Now back to project mind for 2 consecutive points, getting the bullet shield and the minus 28 seconds cooldown, allowing us to be more nimble and move around the map faster. Then back to full auto for its last point, the plus 35% bullet lifesteal. In endgame, this is going to help us a lot because people are going to start getting healing reduction and they're going to be tankier, so we might be dealing less damage. So the bullet lifesteal is going to help keep us alive. And back to card trick for the final point for the 50% card summon rate. This is not really needed, as with the fire rate that you should be building on Wraith, you're going to build cards pretty fast anyway. That's why we save this for last. Now, if your team has a lot of CC on it and you want to be a little bit stronger early rather than going for the telekinesis rush, which I do believe is the best, but this is just another option. You can skip the telekinesis rush and just get the first 2 talents in it for the duration and cooldown and go straight for the full auto and teleport upgrades. That is definitely an option and can work out. I just think that the third talent in telekinesis is way too powerful and the hero should play around it for sure. So let's get on to Wraith's combos. So Wraith's combos don't get too crazy because she does have a simple teleport and she has a simple fire rate buff, but there are some cool stuff you can do. The first thing you want to do is make sure you pretty much always save your full auto for when you have someone altered so that you can get the maximum DPS possible while they're stunned. Another thing is that you can just hold left click while you're pressing your cards to get out as many shots as possible in between the cards. And one thing you should be trying to do is when you're ganking, you come upon an unsuspecting enemy and you TP straight into your ult and get huge damage that way. Now, since Wraith doesn't actually have the craziest combos, I thought I'd add something extra and show you the maximum parry punish you can get as Wraith. When you parry an enemy, they're going to be stunned and take increased damage. The most basic thing you can do is a double melee like that. However, what you'll see is that if you hold left click whilst holding the melee button, your hero will actually get out as many shots as possible in between the melees. This means that the maximum parry punish universally is holding melee and holding left click at the same time. That's going to give you as much possible damage as you can get without using character specific abilities. Now Wraith is actually very easy to get even more damage, as whilst holding melee and left click, you can also spam the card button. and it will get out as many shots and cards as you can in between your melees. So if I build up my cards here, you'll see that in lane, if you parry someone and you have some cards ready, you can pretty much 100 to 0 them and take them from full health to dead. So that's 2 melees, a few shots, and 2 cards, all while they're stunned. They will 100% die from this. One thing I got to mention is that items do increase Wraith's game pretty heavily in terms of combos. So you want to go for Silence Glyph or something like this to disable people's abilities and be able to get off your ult much easier. So with the teleport combo I showed you before, you'll teleport in, Silence Glyph, ult, and they won't be able to escape that with their escape abilities, like Pocket, for example, with his suitcase. Now we have some item recommendations to give you some ideas for good builds for Wraith. This is not going to be a full build, just some recommendations on what I believe are extremely strong on the hero. I do have a full build video coming tomorrow where you can see exactly what I build and my choices, plus my thoughts around different paths you can take. Starting off with Extra Charge. Extra Charge is amazing for Wraith. She loves this item because for 500 she is now getting an extra card and can build up an extra card consistently in lane, making her a powerhouse early. Now we have Infuser. Popping this ability is going to give us 16 spirit power, buffing the damage of our cards, and when we have 3 cards in lane with Extra Charge and the first talent in Card Trick, we're going to be dealing a significant amount of damage with our cards now, and you're also going to get 20% lifesteal, so you're going to heal some of that damage too. My next pick is Melee Lifesteal. Now this you might think is a weird pick, but just read the item. Trust me, it's incredible. You're going to be doing an extra 13% melee damage, you're going to get the base health buff from a green item, you're going to get plus 75 bonus health, and your melee attacks will heal you for 20% of the damage dealt, plus an extra 90 flat. You can even do this to minions, but the heal is 60% less effective. Now this means that just light attacking an enemy hero in lane, you will be healing over 100 and doing probably 100 damage. With Wraith's gun being weak early, having more melee damage is very good for clearing waves fast and being able to keep your lane pushed, or just being able to CS when the enemy is pushing your lane. Here we have some important items that I believe are extremely good on every single Wraith build. First, we have Swift Striker. Swift Striker is incredibly good value, giving her more ammo. 10% is great because Wraith has a huge starting mag, so she gets a good amount of ammo from this. Plus, the 22% fire rate is insanely good, an amazing value for 1200. The bullet resist minus is nothing to worry about because we'll sort this out later on. Then we have Bullet Lifesteal. This item is pretty much a go-to on every single gun damage hero, just giving you a consistent 28% lifesteal of the damage you're dealing with your gun, plus the base health and an extra 75 bonus health. A newly buffed item is Intensifying Magazine. This item is incredible, especially on Wraith because she has such a gigantic mag. You get 25% ammo for this, like I said, which is amazing. Same as Swift Striker because Wraith has a big starting magazine. You get 20% weapon damage extra, but the passive increases your weapon damage up to 75% while shooting. It takes 3 seconds for this effect to build up, so if you build some reload items like Active Reload and Quicksilver Reload, you'll be able to hold this near the top while you're absolutely beaming people. Now the third item I really like on Wraith, and I find it hard not to buy, is Escalating Resilience. This item is going to give 14% fire rate, 14% weapon damage, but the passive is going to grant you 2% bullet resist every single time your bullet hits an enemy hero. This has no internal cooldown, and every single shot will grant this passive, the max stacks being 40%. So when you land 20 bullets as Wraith, you get 40% bullet resist that lasts for 20 seconds and can be refreshed just by hitting another shot. So during fights, you're going to have 40% bullet resist pretty much permanently from an offensive item, which is incredible. Moving on to endgame items, we have Improved Spirit Armor. This is where I want to make Wraith a little bit tankier so she can survive for longer and deal more damage in fights and not be so squishy. We have Escalating Resilience for our bullet armor. So bullet armor itself is not as important as the spirit armor in my opinion, though you can definitely go for bullet armor as well after spirit armor. Next we have Vampiric Burst. I love Vampiric Burst on Wraith. It's going to give her 2 meters per second movement speed, 25% weapon damage, and 150 bonus health. When you activate this item, you're going to get 100% bullet lifesteal, 40% fire rate, and plus 50% extra ammo in your clip And this is not limited by your max magazine size, so it will give you more ammo than you should have in a clip when you activate this, and it lasts for 4.5 seconds. This item can be used in many ways. It can be used offensively. When you ult someone and you pop it, you're pretty much going to shred them to death before the stun even ends, so it can guarantee you kills. But because of the 100% bullet lifesteal, you can also use it defensively. If you're low and someone is pushing you, you pop Vampiric Burst and they're not going to want to keep fighting you because you're going to heal to full and you're going to beam them extremely hard. The next item I want to be getting is Enduring Speed. Wraith wants to be fast, she wants to be able to keep up with people, and she wants to be able to get away from things. So Enduring Speed is a must-have for me, mainly for the reduction of the movement slows. 40% movement slow resist as a passive is amazing, but then you get 1.4 move speed, 2 meters per second sprint speed, 75 bonus health, and 1.5 health regen on top of it. A really great item, and I can't really play without it on Wraith. There's too many slows in the game to not buy this item. Then we have other items. These items you don't have to build, but I highly recommend them. Quicksilver Reload is the first one. I like to imbue this on my card trick, giving my first card when this is off cooldown, extra 65 damage, giving me an extra 15% fire rate bonus, and a full reload of my mag. Now because Wraith's mag is so big, this is going to go extremely far, and not only is it going to help us in fights, we're going to be able to clear the jungle much more efficiently as we're not going to have to reload. We're going to shoot a full mag, use a card, give us extra fire rate and fully reload our mag, and clear out the jungle camps extremely fast. Another quick one I'd like to mention is Active Reload. Great for this reason too, though I did forget to include it here, forgive me. Silence Glyph is the next item. This is going to come with 150 Spirit Shield health and 1 meters per second sprint speed. They're nice stats, but it's not what we're getting the item for. This fires a projectile that deals burst, spirit damage, and silences enemies' abilities for 3 seconds. This is extremely important for Wraith, and a lot of games you will find you literally need it. If there is a Yamato on the enemy team, a Pocket, a Vindicta, anyone who can easily get away from Wraith's ult by pressing one of their abilities, you really need Silence Glyph to, open up and then ult them so they can't escape it and give you a free kill. It gives her huge ganking power and it gives her more defensive power too. Crippling Headshot. Crippling Headshot is incredible for this hero. It's 20% weapon damage, 10% bullet lifesteal and 10% spirit lifesteal. The passive makes it so that when you land a headshot, you reduce the target's bullet and spirit resist by 24% each for 4 seconds, refreshable by just landing another headshot. Now this is very obviously great, but another reason people don't think about is that when you reduce the enemy's spirit and bullet resist, it's not just for you, it's for your whole team. So whoever you're shooting at is going to be absolutely crippled, and your team plus you are going to be dealing way more damage to them. This item is extremely underrated and people need to buy it more. Another item you could try out on Wraith that I really like a lot when I do use it. If you don't need some more damage, your damage is completely fine, but maybe you're taking a bit too much damage, you want to try out Leech. Leech has incredible stats for Wraith. Gives her 35% spirit lifesteal, 35% bullet lifesteal, a lot of health, 12 spirit power, and 15% weapon damage. Every single stat here is good for Wraith, and she really, really likes the lifesteal. By now, we've made her tanky with spirit armor, bullet lifesteal, and escalating resilience. Maybe even you've thrown in bullet armor there. So Leech is just gonna keep your health stacked up while your reductions are working to keep it from going down. When you get this item on Wraith endgame, you do feel extremely strong. Now we've got some macro tips and an explanation on how Wraith likes to play the game. Wraith is very unique as a carry in the way that she doesn't scale as well as the others, but she starts off a lot stronger than the others. So you look at Seven, a hero who is extremely weak early game, even if he's a little bit ahead, becomes final boss late game if he gets there. You have Haze, who is, again, sort of the middle ground between Wraith and Seven. She is kind of stronger than Seven early game, but she's definitely not as strong as Wraith early game, and she gets a lot stronger going into the late game when she gets her ult online, whereas Wraith is actually an incredible lane bully early game, and she doesn't scale as well into the latest late game. I'm talking 40k plus souls as other heroes might, but she has the power to fully carry her team through the game and stay 10k plus souls ahead very easily. The thing is with Wraith, you want to abuse your cards as much as possible to win your lane and get across to other lanes and gank people consistently to keep the enemies pinned down and keep your money up. Wraith is also an extremely good split pusher, so in your downtime after lane when you're not fighting, you want to be going around farming jungle because she's extremely extremely efficient at farming jungle due to a huge mag size. So if you build something like Quicksilver Reload and Active Reload, you're going to be clearing jungle camps very fast, absolutely no problem. So during your downtime from jungling and being away from your team, with the space they create, you want to make sure you're split pushing. If the enemy team lets you get to a walker, you will take it within 10 seconds for the same reason you clear out jungle camps so efficiently. That's your huge mag size and your reload items. You're also very hard to catch on a split push. This is because you have your teleport. 40-meter teleport is no joke, and it's extremely hard to pin a hero down when they have this in their arsenal. Another thing Wraith is very good at, and you want to be doing a lot, is defending split pushes. This is because, like I said, you can use her TP offensively too, and you have the ult, which is just a point and click stun. When you see someone split pushing, you want to defend the lane because you want to get the money from the waves. As a carry, you want to be getting money, so you're going to sneak up, TP in, maybe silence glyph them if you've bought it, ult them, kill them, and then clear the waves. It's very hard to split push against Wraith because, like I said, she's very nimble and she has a point and click stun. The last thing I want to mention that Wraith really likes is mid boss. Wraith is extremely powerful in the mid boss room because her ult is an AoE at max upgrade. Having a huge AoE, just point and click stun that will hit all 6 players is super oppressive in mid boss and something you need to be looking to do. Even if your entire team is dead and the enemies are taking the mid boss, you want to sneak up in there, teleport in at the last second, press your ult and go for the melee on the rejuve. I've stolen the rejuvenator a lot of times like this. It's pretty easy since you don't even have to aim it when the ult is maxly upgraded. So yeah, make sure you're taking advantage of this mechanic as much as possible. So thank you very much for watching my Wraith video, guys. I hope this gets you into the hero and gets you playing her because she is really fun. Full build video coming tomorrow where I'll talk about in depth exactly what items I use so you can use my build. Thanks for watching and goodbye.